Hi guys, Nigel Farage, who failed to win a celebrity show, seems determined that either he or the Reform UK party that he started will fill the vacuum within the centre-right of politics. Now he looks set to undermine the Tories by painting them as having abandoned traditional Conservative voters and betraying Brexit. He pointed to the sacking of Suella Braverman and the hiring of former Prime Minister David Cameron as examples. However, will Farage give Reform the boost it needs?
To come back out and see this all too predictable row going on in the Conservative Party, does say there is a vacuum at the centre-right of British politics. And from what I can see of the polling, Reform is slowly, surely, steadily, organically growing. And there is a major rift within the Conservative Party coming. They had the rift over Brexit. They sort of papered over the cracks by pretending to the country in 2019 that they believed in Brexit when they never really did. And I think, we are back in. We are back in over ECHR, a split of the same magnitude as we saw over Brexit. And I just think all the signals, if Braverman's out and David Cameron's back, that tells me all I need to know about Rishi Sunak and where he's taking our country.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, of course, he goes back to 2019 and says that they didn't truly believe in Brexit, even though he lent his support to Boris Johnson. He hasn't apologised for that. He hasn't said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have backed Boris Johnson because Boris Johnson was a charlatan and a liar. But anyway, now he's saying that, well, we need to get out of the European Convention on Human Rights. We need to abandon it. We need to become like Belarus or something like that. Farage is an interesting character because, according to polling, he doesn't actually have all that much support in Britain. There is a core, like Donald Trump, there is a core that will always support Nigel Farage, no matter what he does, no matter how much he lies, no matter how much he swindles and grifts and convinces people to vote against their own interests. He will always have a small section of society who will be extremely vocal in their support. And he has used that support to get himself onto GB News, to get himself onto celebrity shows, to get himself onto the BBC as well. It's interesting that, according to polling in the run-up to the Brexit vote in 2016, support for Farage was actually declining, not increasing. And it seems that the introduction of Boris Johnson in the latter part of the campaign to get the UK to leave the European Union was a real shot in the arm. So it actually could be that Farage got the ball rolling, but it was Boris Johnson that got it over the line. Farage is not popular. He has run 7 times, I believe, and he has lost 7 times. If he wants to become a minister, if his supporters want him to become a minister, yes, he can be appointed via the House of Lords, but that's not going to be good enough for him. He will need to win a seat. He needs to show to the public and his supporters that he can win a seat in the House of Commons. Now, it's possible that he could work out some deal with the Conservatives where they give him a safe seat, but I don't know if that's going to work because that would require somebody else stepping aside. But when it comes to the way the Conservative Party is going to move forward, it's likely that they're going to move further to the right. They're going to try and court more and more of the Reform UK vote. That's after the general election. What's going to happen to Reform UK after the general election, because they won't win any seats. They'd be lucky to pick up 1. And that would be if there was some massive collapse within the Conservative vote. But we're not going to see MPs from Reform UK unless we see somebody defect from the Conservative Party. But we're not really going to see any Reform UK MPs. So what's going to happen to the party after Rishi Sunak's defeat? It could be the case that the headbangers decide we want Nigel on board. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.